Hello friends, welcome back for more Bitcoin technical analysis with me, your pal Rocky Aircrop, and in today's video I thought I'd mix it up a wee bit and do some Bitcoin technical analysis. Lol. Of course, that's what we do every day on the channel. Welcome to the family if you're new here, and like and subscribe and all that sort of jazz. So the current price is 6,123. Oh, 6123. You gotta love it when it's at 123. So what are we looking at here in terms of the price being down there at 6123? Well, actually it's below this magnolia coloured line here, which we have on the chart, which is, if I zoom right out I can show you, the 236 on the Fibonacci retracement, the bigger one of the two that we're currently working with. So you can see that that's obviously an important price point to be below, and we discussed all this sort of stuff in kind of detail yesterday, looking at what could be going on with the prices, and where they could potentially be going. And well, just as a sort of brief summary of what we were looking at yesterday, really, you can see that the prices could easily go down as far as the 236 of this Fibonacci retracement that we've come below the other 236, which is down there at 5,500 or so. That could easily happen. We're down here at the bottom of the channel, so there's a sort of the question mark here as to whether or not this channel will actually do anything. Of course, there's also a question mark as to whether or not that channel is even in the right place, if we're perfectly honest about things here. On the 24-hour chart, it looks more like it could be useful for something, in which case, you know, we have to ask how we're really going to see the prices operate in and around this area here, which, you know, is really the key for us over the next wee while, I suppose. In terms of just what I'm looking at, really, you've got the $6,000 price mark around about the bottom of the channel. You've got the 5,000 or the 6,150 area where that particular magnolia coloured line is, and it's and like question then becomes which one of those two is really going to be leading the way for us. This here is slightly lower right now than over here, and we're looking at the 4-hour time frame, so you could then say that we're making lower lows on the if we do close in and around this area, then we could be making lower lows, and we could just disregard this upward trend here that we've had. So over the last wee while as well, we had some bearish divergence shown across all the oscillators. We hadn't seen the trend turn around, despite being sort of in a kind of, you could say, an upward trend in the 4 hours. And actually seen that on the DMI down below. So things were never looking particularly great, and during this last phase here, and we also kind of said yesterday as well that, you know, we want to look out here and see if there's some sort of kind of the idea, not actual head and shoulders here, but the sort of the idea of the head and shoulders could be operating in around this area. I said if the prices went as high as sort of 6,600, then maybe you'd be getting your right shoulder in there. Could even the same sort of like psychology be operating in around there? And I don't really, what I kind of just mean is this idea of having made it above this 236 here, come back down below it, made it up above the 236 and gone up to the next Fibonacci level, but then never actually made it above that, then come back down to the 236 and tried to make it up, but never even got further than our horizontal blue line there, then back down again, and that kind of feeling of and that sort of feeling that goes along with it, you know, and if you were to sort of speculate off the back of that, and say that you had some sort of like measured move coming in around this sort of area. No, of course this is not technically this is not accurate, but just it's kind of just interesting to see how neatly, of course, that lines up with the 236 down below here, which we could be going down to at 5,500. You know, that could happen, so that's interesting enough. And of course, the reason why that lines up so neatly is because the price action came up as high as all these areas, and that sort of just the story kind of fits together in terms of how the psychology could be operating around this area. If we were to sort of break on down, so that sort of made up neckline, you could then sort of kind of imagine being along this sort of that sort of path, you know, which is why this area here where the prices are just now is kind of the important part of things, and that's really all we're really looking at. Over on the 24-hour chart, could you say that there's any divergence really or anything on the go? I mean, we've set in a higher low, sorry. You know, if the prices do recover from here and go on up, what does that look like? Well, it just looks like we're filling out more of this channel essentially, and stair stepping up the way we'd want to see this turn around and actually trend towards the upside. If you were to be looking at this as being an upward trend, and you'd like to see it sort of indicated down below in a way, and you'd also want to have the avoidance of any sort of divergence showing up. And currently, we're kind of getting away with that. If that were to be the case, as an upward trend here on the daily chart. But you know, we all have to wait and see how this really pans out in and around this area. I'm not going to give us a sort of statistical percentage chance of what way one thing could go or another. But these are the prices that we're looking out for, and if they break, then what could be the next sort of levels down the way? And of course, we know 5,800 as well. Haven't spoken about that in yesterday's episode. Would be the first sort of, you know, you got 6,000, 5,800, 5,500. Now I'm not a financial advisor, none of this financial advice, but those would be my three profit taking lines down below. You know, then I could reassess things. And then towards the upside, sure, you've got right there where that line is, that's at 6152. Then you've got this horizontal line at 6376, and then you've got the 382 Fibonacci at 6450 area. You know, if the prices can break above 6450 and establish themselves up there, then maybe we'll go up and try towards 6,900. And of course, at that point again, then we'll be bearing in mind this sort of concept of the really slanted head and shoulders idea over here. If we were to see something happen up here, you know, could this be something like that happening over a longer period of time? Well, we'll just have to wait and see how it all pans out, really, because essentially we're still being consolidating. Now, I'm kind of wondering what I'll do with my bonus coin today. I wonder if any of you actually watched the bonus coin videos, so let me know down below if, because I don't know how the subscriber numbers like work out, how many people want Bitcoin and Ethereum or want all the coins or whatever. So it'd be cool to know. But I don't know what coin I'll do today, so I'm going to have to think about that today. But it's just what got me thinking about it there is that, you know, it's kind of worth looking across the different markets just to see how we're still consolidating here. You know, we're still consolidating here, we're still consolidating here. There's been no breakouts or anything like that. You know, there might have been some people saying fake out here, fake out there. There's still, you know, we're still in all of that phase. And then when we look back at Bitcoin, and that's across the board more or less. When we look back at Bitcoin, we do silly things like we talk about how we've got this 4-hour upward trend, which it's not, you know, I've sort of, that's always left a bad taste in my mouth saying that, and we kind of ignore the fact that we're just doing more or less the same sort of thing as over there. So the prices being specifically right where they are right now, despite the fact that we talked about the 6,200 level in yesterday's video, are not, you know, it's not like in terms of the bigger picture, not causing me a great deal of concern right here. Whereas I'd feel a lot more concern at 6,000, a lot more concern there at 5,800, and then be very, very concerned at 5,500. You know, in terms of the longer term price action, or at least the price action for the next month or so. And in terms as well as looking across the markets, then we know that obviously it's the weekend right now. This isn't active, but we just have to wait and see how these markets as well will work. That's the SPY, and this is the Dow Jones, and we know that we had a sort of pretty poor end to the week, really, in terms of the day on Friday, pretty poor, with it closing down 4%. You know, having started off with the chance of it, you know, going up the way. So that was a bit of a rejection there and come back down. So I kind of want to see how things pan out there, and where people are kind of putting their money, or if indeed they're just relying on cash overall for all that. And that's kind of what I'm looking out for over the next week. Well, so yeah, that's great. Yeah, and let me know what you think in the comments below about bonus videos and stuff like that. Obviously, I'll have filmed today's one, but by the time I read your comments asking what to do, but let me know, you know, if you want to see anything else, or if you like the format of the videos as well, me splitting Bitcoin and Ethereum up and stuff like that. Maybe you'd like to see them sort of analysed side by side. How will just for the crack, shall we have a quick look at Bitcoin versus Ethereum just to see how things are lining up? BTC, ETH, is that not going to show up for me? Okay, so we're looking at it the other way around, fair enough. So we'll look at it on Binance, see how Ethereum is therefore shaping up against Bitcoin. And we've had this big old down. Well, let's have a look a bit more. Let's not look on the 12-hour. let's look down here. So wow, we've got this sort of curving around here. What's happening here? We're coming back up to that zone, coming up here above the moving average. Still kind of, are we turning around here? Could we see Ethereum outperform Bitcoin over the next wee while? I wonder how things will go down. I wonder how things will go down in the next wee while if we've had all what we're getting there. Let's just have a wee quick measure off the back and get rid of these this old chunk. Oops. As you can see in the past there. Whenever, what was this? That was that was just earlier on this year. I was looking at that. Interesting. What am I looking at right now? Yeah, what chart is this? Binance, right? Well, anyway, that worked out perfectly, that move. That was kind of nice. Let's have a wee quick look here then. Let's go wick to wick. And look, so if the prices go above there, then we could start thinking about things positively. Obviously, right now they're still doing rubbish and it's too early to say. Interesting. How have we done on the other side of things? It just moved out at the last second, kind of ruined it. It ruined everything. Let's have a look at the other side of things and see where we've come down as far as, oh, we've had this sort of really quite deep retracement here then, but we've gone past the 618, but so like this sort of golden pocket fully filled up there in terms of that. Haven't made it down as far as the 786, and they're in this no man's land currently. Well, I am totally interested to see how this turns out, if this is it rounding off at the bottom and turning around or not. In terms of divergences, this downward trend here, not really seeing any. So that's all been fine in terms of hidden bearish divergence. There isn't really that either, but we could be seeing a turnaround here. That'll be interesting to see, I suppose. So that's a little bit of a bonus, I guess, at the end of the video itself. But let me know about the bonus coins and if you want to see any other particular pairs being traded. And I suppose I just mumbled my way through the Ethereum Bitcoin bit at the end there. But what am I looking at? Well, I'm just kind of waiting to see how it actually reacts around that 02136 area, and if we start to see some movement towards this 236 here. So look at the zone I'm interested in terms of whether or not we keep getting any going through here is 142 up to 22237, and then if it turns around again, you know, in around this area, then I'm looking down to 20. Well, obviously back to where this line is here, really at 20158, and see how things pan out. Okay, yeah, thanks very much for tuning in. I'll see you in the next videos. Oh, I feel a bit sick today, by the way. That's if you're wondering, oh, what's up with him? Why is he a bit bleh? Well, you know, that's what's going on. Ooh, poor me. See you next time.